Have you ever had this fear before where you cannot do anything, you can't move forward, it stops you in your track, it paralyzes you? Hello, today is day 58. Yay. That's how far I've gone. So today, to be honest, I didn't feel like coming out because of the snake incident that happened yesterday. I mean, I felt like coming out, but I didn't feel like coming out to this very path, which I love so much. But if you don't know about the snake incidents that happened yesterday, go and check out yesterday's video and you will see it. I'm not going to give you a clue. So because of that, I didn't really want to come out today to this path, but I decided to face my fears and come out. And that's why today we're going to be talking about the power of facing your fears. Yes, the power of facing your fears. And fear is something that is a normal human emotions, right? Like, we all have fears, and mostly it's even something that, God has put there for us. It's natural in our bodies, it's natural in our biology to fear, because to an extent fear helps us to adapt to certain situations, to escape danger. There's what is called the fight or flight response, where your sympathetic system, your sympathetic nervous system flares up in response to stress or imminent danger, and it helps you to fight the danger or to flee from the danger. It's just like maybe when a lion is coming. If you are not afraid, you are not going to be able to fight, or not fight. You should not fight a lion. Run, no. You won't be able to flee, So that normal fear where your heart rate increases when the sympathetic nervous system is charged up, you have hormones like, stress hormones like cortisol, adrenaline pumping into your body, and you are able to flee because there's increased muscle strength, there's increased blood flow. That's when you feel tensed up, you see the hairs on your body coming up, you start sweating, you feel much power, so all those mechanisms come into place for you to be able to flee. So it's a normal thing actually to fear sometimes, to have fear in response to certain situations, which is rational, which is the fear is proportional to the situation, and the fear helps you to adapt and to act. But when we're talking about fear now, I'm not talking about that kind of natural normal fear that is like a kind of defense mechanism. I'm talking about fear that stops you in your track, fear that prevents you from doing what you're supposed to do, fear that limits you, fear that prevents you from moving forward, right? Have you ever had this fear before where you cannot do anything, you can't move forward, it stops you in your track, it paralyzes you? Have you ever felt that kind of fear before? That's the kind of fear we're talking about. Fear that begins to affect your daily activities, that begins to impinge into your normal activities and prevents you from succeeding. So, and we all have fears. We all have fears. There's nobody in this world that will tell me that they never had fear. If you have never had any fear before, let me know in the comment section, then we will all come so that you can teach us what to do. We all have fears. Sometimes for some people, it's fear of social situations. Some people, it's fear of people. What will people say? For some people, it's fear of being hurt, fear of danger, fear of getting ill. For some people, it's fear of losing loved ones. For some people, it's fear of finances, financial stability. For some people, it's fear of the future. It's fear of the unknown. For some people, it's fear of failing. We have all kinds of fears as human beings. I don't know if you want to share any of your fears with us. What has been your fear? you can share it in the comment section. Personally, if I'm going to share, one of the things that I fear most is fear of failure. And it has really affected me in a lot of areas of my life where I hate to fail when I do something. And so rather than do that thing, I would rather not do it because I don't want to fail, So fear of failure has hindered me personally, in growth, in my personal growth, because I would just be like, oh, I don't want to fail. I don't want to fail. So we all have our fears. But how can we combat this fear? That is the main thing. That's the question. How can we combat the fear? And I'm going to just go quickly through 3 ways in which I feel we can combat our fears. Number 1 is to acknowledge the fear. Acknowledge that you are fearful. I'm afraid of this thing. This is my fear. This is my fear point. Acknowledge it. And by acknowledging it, it can involve actually facing up to it, journaling, writing it down, highlighting it, telling yourself the fear, voicing it out, or talking to somebody about the fear. Because in talking to somebody, you're actually acknowledging it. And what this does is that it brings the fear to limelight. It makes you see the fear for what it is. And when you acknowledge that fear, it brings it out. It kind of cements it outside of yourself. It brings it out of yourself. It brings it out to the open. And sometimes when you talk to somebody, the person might even be able to see things from another perspective. And sometimes when you talk about the fear, or you bring the fear out, you might find out that it's not even as bad as it is. Because you begin to see loopholes. You begin to face the reality about the fear, because sometimes the fears are even unfounded. There's another set of fear that is phobia. That one is a different kind of fear entirely, where people have very intense, irrational, unfounded, persistent fear about maybe something or somebody or a situation or a circumstance. That one is a phobia. It's another type of fear, and people have it just like maybe arachnophobia, where people have fear of spiders, or claustrophobia, where people have fear of closed spaces. So that's another type of fear. So when you actually talk to somebody or acknowledge the fear, it helps to bring it out and reduces the enormity of the fear. That is number 1, acknowledge the fear. The next one is facing the fear, which is what I'm doing today, because I'm really scared of coming out today, but I decided to face the fear. And also, this YouTube channel, even general, is just my one big facing the fear moment for me, because I've always feared that, put myself out there. What will people say? How will people see me? Will I fail? Will this happen? Will that happen? So this YouTube channel for me is one of my facing the fear moments. I'm facing the fear, my fears. So what facing your fears does is, number 1, it helps you to see the fear for what it is, like we've said in the first point, and it makes you to see that the fear might not even be as bad. The thing you are fearing might not even be as bad as you are imagining it. Because when you face it, you are able to see the fear, and you are able to see that it might not even be as intense. It's not even as bad as what you were thinking about. So facing the fear helps us to see that the fear is not as bad as what we've been thinking. And also it also helps us to develop more self-confidence, because when we face the fear and we find out that nothing happens, like for example now I'm facing this fear now, I've not seen any snakes so far. So it gives me more confidence, right? In the future, when I'm coming out tomorrow, it gives me more confidence. I have more resilience, because I don't know that, okay, it's not that bad. I didn't see any snakes, so So when you also face that fear like that, it helps you with confidence, because again, you now see that, okay, fine, it wasn't as bad as what I felt it would be, and it helps your self-confidence, because you now have more resilience. You're able to face it another time. So facing your fear helps you more and more. The more you face the fears, the more you are able to overcome it, because you can see that it's not as bad as you thought, and you have faced it. And then because you have faced it, you have more confidence to face it another time. And then it builds more confidence, and it builds slowly, you're able to overcome the fear. And the third way you can overcome fear is by speaking to it. And we've talked about speaking to things, talking, the power of words and everything a lot on this channel. How you need to challenge the negativity, the thought process that is bringing out the fear, that is causing your fear. You need to challenge that thought process, challenge that negativity, speak to it and overcome it, both by your spoken words and also by prayers. Challenge the fear, by your spoken word, by challenging that negativity, and not only challenging the negativity, replacing the negativity with positive things. So those are the 3 ways in which we can overcome our fears. And I dare to say that when I first came on this path today, I was almost having that mechanism that I talked about, that flight mechanism. I was almost having it because my ears just came up, my heart started beating, I started feeling like, hey, I was just looking on the floor. Because there's no way I'm going to be filming and like this. I can't be filming and looking at the floor at the same time. I have to look at you. I have to look at the camera. So I really had to. When I first came, I was just like, hey. But now I face the fear. I'm more confident now. I'm seeing that, okay, fine. I'm not seeing any snakes so far. And it's okay. And this applies to, all the areas of our lives. And even the same with this YouTube channel that I've started. I've seen that it's not that bad. You guys are not monsters. Nobody's after me, People are supporting, people are encouraging. It's fun. And I'm happy doing it. And I'm feeling fulfilled, So, yeah, face your fears today. Face your fears. And you never know what you're going to see at the end. In fact, I know what you're going to see at the end. You are going to see that it's not that bad. And you are going to be stronger. And you are going to be able to live a more fulfilled life. Because you face your fears and you overcome them. So that's all I have for today. I'm going to continue on my walk, and I'll see you when I'm done. So I'm back. Yes, today we've talked about facing our fears, and so we've talked about facing our fears, and yes, let's go out there and face whatever fear that we're facing that is making us to retrogress, or that is making us to be stagnant, or that's preventing our growth. So one of my best scriptures is that one that says that God has not given us the spirit of fear, but the spirit of love and power and of a sound mind. So speaking to your fear, one of the ways we can speak to our fears is applying the scriptures to that fear. And I just want to encourage you, as I'm encouraging myself, let's face our fears today so that we can move forward, so that we can progress, so that we can succeed. And I'm going to see you tomorrow. Bye.